everyone, welcome back to the Rockcast. Jordan here on the main mic, and with me I have Robby Denning. We just finished a 5-day mule deer hunt, and yeah, we just wanted to talk about that.
Let's see, this week it's beef stroganoff, pasta primavera. Threw a backpacker's pantry in there just to mix it up. Make sure I'm getting all spectrums of sodium. I did some spring scouting, talked to some biologists. I volunteered on a few studies that they were doing, and the winter kill was bad. It really was. But kind of what I took away from it was it's not going to get any better now for a couple of years. We've lost our fawn crop of basically that 16-17 winter that we had. We lost our fawn crops from 2016, so those are your 3-year-old deer right now, okay? And then we turned around and had another bad winter, 18-19, so that means we've lost our 2016 fawns and our 2018 fawns. And talking to the biologists, they're like, it's going to be slim pickings for big deer here coming a couple of years, and probably should hunt while we've still got some, mature deer on the hill. Typically when a bad winter comes, you lose your older age deer and your younger age deer. So your prime age deer, your 2 to 3 year old deer, those typically make it through at a higher rate. We got everything packed up Saturday morning and headed in. We took 3 horses and we put a saddle paniard on one of them, which basically allows you to carry gear on a saddle. Sí, comprendo. Gracias, amigo.
Uno mi portado me lo que ayer. Ese creek, desde ese top.
Sí, sí. Yeah. Mañana. We just traded riders, so Jordan walked the first mile, and then I walked a ways, and then Ryan walked a ways, and we just kept doing that till we got in camp, and I figure we're about 5 miles in there. We left 6 days ago, and we're back. Looks like everything's okay. Ryan is kind of a dyed-in-the-wool elk hunter. He's been very successful archery elk hunter. He's taken an Idaho bull over 400. I mean, that's like a unicorn. And just, the kind of guy that fills his archery elk tag every single year. Nice bulls, but he's really got the mule deer bug going the last 10 years. And so we're always trying to do a hunt together. I'd love to be part of his first really big deer. So this year, it was looking like a good year for us to go with schedules and points and all that other stuff. Dude, does your probation officer know that you're going to be in a film?
No.
Okay, that is the back.
Yeah.
Good. Just cooked it. It's kind of takes a shape and a size. By the 3rd week of August, neither of us had seen a buck that we could honestly say was over 4 years old. And, it was getting down to the wire and we just may be continuing our scouting during the hunt because, we wanted to start bow hunting and the archery season opens in early September. But I think it was the 23rd or 24th of August, got up on this big 10,500 foot peak at daylight and just started glassing, and I think it was the first deer I saw that morning. Sorry, you got to see my ugly mug up close, but I just found a smoker buck. High 20s, cheaters, heavy, everything we're looking for. Basket frame. I tried to get the phone scope on him. It was just really hard to get the phone scope on him. But I did see him with my eyeballs, and that's what counts. You'll just have to trust me. I really did get a good look at him, but it just wasn't very long, like 45 seconds to a minute. Because of that whole mountain being covered with rock slides, we decided to name this buck Rockslide. We thought that was pretty fitting. So the season was going to open in 6 days, so I just called Ryan as soon as I hit the valley and said, hey, I found us a buck, we got to go. Never had been in the area other than just that day. But that mountain's got a lot of timber on it. I mean, it really does. And I even told Ryan that. I said, we're going on a bow hunt in a place that is not cut out for bow hunting. It's subalpine at best. But, we're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It was the best buck we saw. So we went after him. We had a good time. And the great thing about it, and you probably saw it this week, I mean, we knew every access way to get in there with horses walking, however we wanted to do it, we could get in there. And that's a big part of your hunt too. Like if you don't have the logistics down, you're just walking into your deer country. You don't know the winds. You don't know how to get in there. You're spooking deer. So it's never a waste to go hunting, but it wasn't like it was unfruitful for that archery season.
Hey, what are you doing?
Don't pee in the water.
All right, it's day before the rifle opener. We've been out of here about a week, and we hunted that first 7-8 days for archery. Never laid eyes on him, but got the next best thing. Cut a giant track in there, which I'm sure is him. There's not very many deer in there. And if it's not him, it's another big deer. What I've learned on these OTC hunts, that you're gonna have all those things going on. Sheep, other guys, you know, weather, you're gonna have all that stuff going on, and you just have to keep hunting through all that stuff. And like we were talking a while ago, you know, we're just laying around camp today getting rested up, because we're going to be getting up at 3:45, 4 o'clock every morning. We know that the chance of that buck moving is going to be at daylight till probably noon. After that, he's not going to be up in glassable country like some of this stuff behind me. He is just not going to do it. There's no way he would have made it to the age he's at if he was living out in that country. He'd get shot. You know, there's a 1 chance in a million, maybe, but I'd rather just be rested up, 2-3 hours before daylight, and in the spots where we think he's going to be, where we've seen the track, and Ryan and I glassed some other bucks on the backside of that mountain. We need to be in those places when the bucks are moving, and, you know, unless we just see him in the morning, we're probably not going to see him, later in the day. So, our plan is not to kill ourselves. We're not going to be out on the mountain 12, 14 hours a day. We got horses to feed, camp take care of, and we're going to be out when we think he's going to be moving. We'll hunt as hard as we can, and then we'll throw in the towel and hit it again the next day. So that's pretty much the plan. We usually have the wind until we get a little higher than this, and then the prevailing wind from the south kind of cancels it out, and then you get all these swirlies. But this is where we first saw him, was in these cuts. And we know he feeds over there and probably beds over there. But with all this green, this is probably a prime feed area. Most likely he's out of it by this time of day, but Ryan's got that hillside covered. There's no sense in us sitting there staring at it. It's not him, okay? One of his running buddy. Before we got up here, I said, just expect to see 10 hunters opening day. I mean, it's just how it is. We're in basically an OTC unit. It's just how it is. We just got to get in there and mix it up. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't see any other deer. There were people around. We heard a lot of shooting opening morning, but we're down out of the Alpine, and it seemed like all the shooting was up in the Alpine country. By seeing a deer, by laying my eyes on a deer, I don't care if it's August or not, he's given me the biggest clue. I'm at least in part of his home area. And the way I look at these big bucks, it's my opinion only that they live in about a mile, maybe 2 square mile area. That's what I think, before they migrate, before the rut. I'm talking early season like right now. So if I see him, I know, at least I know his home area. Now, I don't know his core area. Where is he spending his time when he rubs his antlers and when the pressure's on? I don't know that. That's I know that when I pull the trigger. And so, but that's why scouting's so important. Might be like a belly hair, but all the hairs are gray, and look how much there is. Where over there, every hair was just a little bit darker on the edge, so.
And I'm hunting it as hard as I was the first day because I know he's there. And if he's not, there's a chance he's gonna come back. I don't even know if it's a good chance, but there's a chance that's where he's gonna show up because he's comfortable with it. And then we're kind of back to the hunter numbers. We never saw anybody right where I've seen.
What?
Pyro putty. I know you don't follow Rockslide, so you don't know what it is. It's alright, dude. We're headed back up where we were. Ryan will probably want to watch that basin that we were in, and you and I will go to the top, or we'll switch. Didn't seem to be anybody else in there.
It was one of the areas I thought the big buck might go on opening day, but when I took Jordan out there, I said, any buck out here is going to get freaking killed if they're here very long, but we needed to check it, and we went there the second day. And I had seen some horse tracks up on top of the ridge, but I think they were scouters. I think they were in a couple days before us by the edge of the track, and then we saw one boot track.
Hunter right there, walking above the cliffs. 3 bucks. That's a new buck we have not seen before.
We never saw any people right where we'd seen the big buck, but over on that backside, we saw, he was a real tempter. I mean, I thought about it for a minute.
I said, Robby, are you sure you don't want to shoot him?
We found the nicest buck we've seen up here since the hunt started, so he was just a number 2 buck under Rockslide. And he was going to get killed. I kept telling George, he better get out of there because he's out here in these wide open scree fields. And we saw a guy over there, and he saw the deer, and I think he just pasted it. So good for that guy. He did it right. He was hunting careful. We saw him this morning sneaking across there.
But, you know, I've just learned if you shoot bucks like that, you're never going to get a big one, you know.
We didn't just walk out to this edge to peek off here. I don't really expect that buck to be using this open country, especially this late in the morning, but this mountain runs east and west, so we're out on the east side of it now, and we got westerly winds, so we just spent an hour getting the wind in our face, and it's getting late enough in the morning. It's 9:30. We should be losing those thermals that are dropping into the timber there, so we should have up thermals and wind in our face. That's perfect for creeping through here. Plus, we heard on the weather radio this morning this breeze is supposed to keep up all day, so that covers some of your noise. The only problem is it's thick enough. It's just hard to see them before they see you. But I'd rather be in there where there's at least a chance at a big one out here on these open slopes where I just can't imagine a big buck coming out here this late in the morning, and you know, now that we're seeing hunting pressure. So we'll see. Definitely a buck. That's probably his rear track right there. See how pointed it is? This is blunt.
I had been up here, by that day, that was like the 8th, 9th day I'd been here. I'd never seen that buck. And that's the other thing I've learned about hunting these big deer, is that even if we don't find Rockslide, there's other big deer that will come around that area. Because if it attracts one, there's a reason. There's enough cover, enough feed, whatever it is, lack of hunting pressure, I don't know, but you'll see other big bucks. And so that's the case in point with that one that guy shot. I mean, Ryan and I never saw that buck.
I tracked that buck right to this bed last week. Now, he didn't lay down here, but he came through here. And I got looking at it, I thought, you know, this is the only place for them to cross these rock slides in that scree. I was on that trail without making a bunch of noise, because, you know, I just went through there and it's just terrible. And so I thought this is where we'd put the trail camera, and then sure enough, there's still more Ferris tracks. One was laying right there, man. He'd have a selfie. Be looking right in the camera, he'd count his eyelashes. That's a pretty good track. That might even be him. If so, he's using this trail regularly. They like that benchy stuff like that. You know, you could catch him out in there, even this time of day. It's too big to be one. Highest quality, most durable, comfortable. You can get them from any Honda dealership. I hope my wife doesn't see this movie, because I've had it up here for 2 weeks, 2 different hunts, and so far she hasn't noticed it's missing. Good night.
But that whole mountain, Jordan, hopefully you've seen that the last 5 days of tromping around on that thing, is that it's got security to it.
So what'd you see? Anything?
Nothing. There wasn't actually. I've seen a few small tracks up top.
Mm-hmm.
Got halfway down, there were some elk tracks in there, and then got down, there were deer tracks everywhere on the bottom.
In the bottom.
In the very bottom.
Gotcha.
They had trails like this, and they were just pounded.
Oh, you're such a freaking liar. It's because the sheep have been in there. I've been trying for 2 weeks to help him tell the difference between a domestic sheep track and a deer track. I'm making no progress.
It kind of shows what kind of brain cells he really has and what he burned when he was younger. So. Would you be out there showering in a rainstorm?
No.
So we're just sitting here kind of watching this basin, and we figure that Rockslide's in here. Rob hunted the lower stuff today. He went over and checked some of the lower stuff. We have a good feeling that he's sooner or later going to show up on this side hill or in this general area. There was a lot of activity on the back side today, so we were kind of hoping he'd move around into this little basin here. Fog's really moving in. The clouds are really low. We might lose our visibility here pretty soon.
He'll probably get away. They usually do. But the few giants that I've killed have been just like this. They disappear. You keep hunting, you keep turning it over, you keep going, and all of a sudden they show up. 25% of the time you end up killing them. And so that's why we're still after it and going to keep going.
Rob, take a step this way. Just that's how muffled. I can see him. Listen.
Not a giant. But a nice track. I never saw him until I got by you. I couldn't see in that dark timber. So tomorrow's our last day in here for a little while. We'll just leave the camera in here maybe it'll pick up Rockslide. Still hunt back over to the horses. Probably stop a little early today, feed the horses. They had a long day yesterday, and then we'll go out this evening. We haven't been out much in the evening yet, so we'll give that a shot. And just working our way back to the horses, we walked right up on a buck. I didn't see it, Jordan saw it. 35 yards laying down. We could have based it 40 times if it would have been Rockslide. That's what we're looking for. It's hard to be ready, it's hard to know where they're at. I mean, but sometimes still hunting's the only game in town, you know, when you're not seeing the bucks out in the open. So, gets the heart pumping anyways.
You know, is that buck still around? Is he still up there? I don't know. I've just learned, Jordan, that when you find them, they're there for a reason, and it doesn't do any good to run all over the place. You know, you got to kind of hunt right around where you've seen them.
I think that wraps it up. Rockslide slowly becoming a myth in the mind of Robby Denning. Sorry I couldn't show him to you. And poor Ryan. He was up here like 11 days and never saw him.
But we've got some good recon on him. We got a few weeks of season left, but Ryan and I will hook up again and we'll figure it out, and we'll get. I'd like to spend another 5 to 7 days in here.
So we get back to the trailhead. We've been gone a week. I didn't even really tell my dad where I was. This is on my truck. That's my old man for you. Go drive around the mountain until he finds my truck, and then leave me a nice note to encourage me. And thanks, Dad.
Probably get away, but I know one thing. I'm gonna keep hunting until it closes.
Been about a week since we packed out. A week and a day. So went out last Thursday. It's Friday. We're back in here. I'm by myself this time. My partner had another commitment. It's just me and Leo and Charlie and God. Big storm coming. Might be good. That's why I wanted to get back in here. The season closes in about a week, so this will be our last chance in here. That's my first sign of any good deer in here since I got here. He's got a bigger track. It's old, I realize. It's kind of blunt on the end. But he moved during this storm. I just still ended up on this buck. He's pretty nice, but he's not a shooter. I just put in my 17th day on the buck we named Rockslide. That's one day more than any buck I've ever hunted. But I had a good time. I learned a lot. I still think he's here because how do you explain those big tracks? Cut that one set on September 7th. Cut that other set 3 days ago. They don't match any other buck that's in here. That's a 300-pound deer that's leaving those tracks. And even if it's not Rockslide, it's another big buck. So I just didn't cross paths with him, but I sure learned a lot. That buck I still hunted in on last night could have just as easily been him. Same place, same feed areas. I'm sure it was one of his running buddies. But anyways, thanks for following along. I hope you learned something that'll help you take a great buck.